Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday night. You know what that means. Another edition of 11 Live on Instagram Live. 8:01. We're right on the dot. I'm Ian Gilmore, your host on these Tuesday nights. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for always tuning in. If you've been here with us previous, we have really exciting things going on with Indy 11. Preseason starts tomorrow for the men's first team. February 1st, the official start. We're going to get going. A lot of the players have made their way to Indy. I think a couple of more are going to be trickling in this week. Some trialists are with us. A couple of guys from the men's open tryout are with us. And a lot of the players that we have signed this offseason have all made their way and are ready to get going in preseason. So it starts for sure tomorrow. It's the official start of the 2023 Indy 11 men's season. Tonight, we have a very, very special guest. Over 45 goals, over 45 assists in the USL Championship, one of only a couple in league history. Aodhan Quinn will join us tonight. Former teammate of Solomon Asante at Phoenix, a former teammate of Robbie Dambrot at Akron, so he's familiar to a couple of guys on the team. On 11 Live on this Tuesday night. Hope everyone out there is doing fantastic. I'm doing fantastic. It was a great Tuesday. Getting to see the guys in action today. And now we say hello to Aodhan. Aodhan, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
Let me see if I can't turn you up here. I think I got it on myself here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sweet. I couldn't hear you before. I'm behind the times. I still have an iPhone 10. And so my AirPods sometimes don't sync up to it and stuff, so I can't always mic myself up on these. But good to have you on, man. Good to see you again. I want to start off kind of going back to your early days in your soccer career. Robbie Dambrot just got on. So we're right on top of it. Your days at Bradley and Akron. When you think back to kind of your college days and where you kind of started really getting super serious with soccer, what comes to mind for you?
Yeah, I'm no. I'm aware of the Midwest, I guess. Coming from San Diego, went to Bradley. I met some good friends there, one of my best friends. But Bradley wasn't for me, so transferred out to another Midwest school, went to Akron, and yeah, that's where I met a lot of my good friends, actually. So Robbie Dambrot being one of them, so it's nice to reunite with him. But yeah, it's good to be back. It's a little cold, though. I kind of forgot how cold it gets out here.
I was going to say, you spent the last 5 years in very warm, like it's about as southern as you can get in the country. So what's that change been like coming back, I guess?
Yeah, I think my wife and I, we both forgot how cold it gets. Walking the dog today, yeah, just have to layer up and ordered a winter coat, I think. So that's on the way, and yeah, just got to get on with it. Makes you stronger, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. It toughens you up. So have you gotten so I know a lot of guys are kind of like foregoing the apartment route this year and getting a house. What's sort of your situation? What did you find that works for you?
Yeah, we're getting we're going to rent a house. We have a house in Phoenix that we're selling. So once that sells, we'll probably buy out here as well. Get into the community and yeah, really put down some roots.
Yeah. I know you talked about it with Rakestraw on Soccer Saturday, but seems like there's a lot of new young dads around. Have you gotten any tips? I know B had a kid in the off season. Cam's well on his way. What are sort of the dad conversations like around the locker rooms? I guess it's pretty early days, but what have they been like?
Yeah. B. Yeah, I think his kid is just older than mine.
Okay.
Jack Blake has some toddlers, so he's the one that actually can give advice. I can't really give much advice. I'm still new to it. Cam asked for some advice because his wife, I think, is due in a week or two or something like that. And like I told him, just listen to whatever she says because they know more than us. But no, it's good. It's awesome. I think that's going to be great for us as the guys, but I think it'll also be good for the girls. They get to hang out and also for the kids. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's good for them to have their little community. So that happened after the season then for you?
Yeah, that happened right after the end of the season. So the due date was actually the day after the last game, but she was a little late, so came like 10 days late.
So I wonder, a lot of, not a lot, but I say at least some guys talk about them switching just a little bit, changing just a little bit as a player once you become a dad. Have you sort of seen that at all in your early days getting back into things? Do you think that'll kind of change your style or any way you go about things?
I don't know about my style or how I play, but maybe just thinking about the future and long term and that security wise, because now it's not just worrying about myself or my wife. We actually have someone else that's more important. So
Yeah, for sure. So going back to your Akron days, so I'm a Michigan State grad, and so in the past couple of years at least, we haven't had too much luck with going against the Zips, especially 2018 College Cup 5-1 loss. Ben Lewis stood on his head that day, and he was a brick wall.
he does that a lot.
But yeah, he was. Who was your coaches? All those, because I know there's been a lot of names that have come out of Akron. So who was around in the days you were there?
Yeah, some big names were there when I was there. So I was just kind of I was lower end on the totem pole for sure. But Caleb Porter was my coach for 2 years, and then Jared Embiid for a year. I roomed with Will Trapp. DeAndre Edlin was there while I was there. Sean Abdul Salam, Adam Najam, a lot. Scotty Caldwell, Chad Barson. I think one year we had like 15 guys that eventually went pro. So Darren Maddox, all these guys. Yeah, it is still a good program, but yeah, there's a lot of good players back then too.
Do you keep in touch with DeAndre? Is just that one name that pops out as a national team guy. Do you keep in touch with him at all?
DeAndre a little bit, not too much. He was in Europe and Turkey and everything. But like Will Trapp, I'll still talk to because we were close, we were roommates, and yeah, a lot of the guys. There's a few of them in my wedding, so it's good to keep in touch with them, and they became lifelong friends.
Yeah, good to see him again, I guess. Take me through kind of the early stages of your career. What were your thoughts as you left school and turned pro? And I guess for someone that has never been there, what is that experience kind of like?
Yeah, it was always what I wanted to do. So it was great to finally achieve that goal, but you kind of think like that once you achieve that goal, like you're going to be happy. But for me, it was just kind of, I kept trying to push and keep getting better and never really satisfied. Like you think that once you hit that goal, you're going to be happy and like you finally did it. And I certainly was, but it also just kind of pushed me to keep going and see how far I could take it. And lucky for me, I'm going into my 10th year. So I think it's incredible that I've been able to do that and I still love it. So it's great.
What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned in your decade?
The biggest lesson, especially as a USL player, I think you just got to keep at it. You got to keep grinding, perseverance. It's a grind out here. It's not making huge amounts of money like the Premier League players and stuff. But you know what? The journey's awesome. I think meeting all the guys I've met over the 10 years, it's been incredible. I've had lifelong friends at every team I've been at, different cultures, different atmospheres, different communities, everything like that. I got to see different parts of the country and the world through it. So I think that's definitely a bonus.
I'm curious because I often think the USL is it's a unique league. It's a fantastic league, but there's still MLS that is typically kind of everyone's thought as the number one. You've had some fantastic years in this league. Have you had aspirations to play in MLS? Have you had chances that you've turned down, or have even, those kind of ideas in your head, has those shifted through your years?
Yeah, I definitely had aspirations to play in the MLS. For whatever reason, it never happened. I thought I had a couple of good years out there where I might get a shot, but yeah, the MLS is a kind of a funky league. It's you don't really if you don't get a shot, you don't get a shot. So I never really got the greatest opportunity, but I'm okay with it. I think I've done what I could every team I've been at, and I've enjoyed every step of the way. So there's no regrets in anything I've done.
Well, I think I can speak for everyone when we say, we're happy to have you in Indy now. I want to kind of go through one thing that I think is very unique. You've got a dad that played at the highest level too, 48 caps for the country. And one thing I found very unique as well, there's not too many players that have played for both Everton and the San Diego Sockers. As far as I know, it's your dad and Landon Donovan, end of list. So I guess I know you weren't around really for a lot of his playing career, but just growing up around him, I guess, what was that like?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, he's still beating me in soccer tennis, and he's 62 or 3 right now. So
does that say more about you or him?
I know. I don't know. I'm gonna say he's really good, but it might be me. So,
okay.
But no, even guys that I'll run into, older guys that played with him, or guys that he coached for, or whatever. They just tell me how good he was and how great he was when he played, but. Because he doesn't really talk about himself. He's very humble. He never really talks about his career much, but he'll give me little tidbits about what happened when he played or when he was coaching and stuff. But there's other people that do the talking for him, which I think is incredible. I mean, if you have people coming up to you and telling you how good your dad was, I think that kind of shows how good he was. And yeah, he was signed to Everton for a little bit, but then made his way to North America, and that's where he really carved out a good career for himself.
Obviously, that's where kind of like the spelling of your name comes from. Someone sent in a question and asked. They wanted you to pronounce it just to make sure we've got it right.
Yeah, it's simple. It's just Aodhan. It's just spelled a little differently, the Irish way.
How many times growing up did you have to explain that to people?
Yeah, I got a lot of mispronunciations. Sometimes I just tell them to sound it out, and then that confuses them a little more. But no, it's good. I think it's unique. It's Gaelic. So my daughter, her middle name is actually Gaelic. We kind of like that, just to throw it in there, keep that heritage going. So it's good.
That's awesome. When was the last time you've been back to the homeland?
Oh, it hasn't been for a while. Probably like 6 or 7 years maybe.
Did you do anything special the last time you went back? Was it just kind of to visit family or friends or anything?
Yeah, anytime we go over there, England or Ireland, there's always family there. My family's basically the only family that lives outside of Ireland. So, and I have a huge family. My dad's one of 10, my mom's one of 6. So it's a lot of cousins, a lot of uncles, aunts, everything.
I imagine Christmas is a very busy time of year for you.
Yeah. I'm one of 6, and I have 13 nieces and nephews, so we also have a big family. Most of them are in San Diego, so it's nice to go back there and visit. But then, yeah, we're closer also now in Indy. We're closer to my wife's family, so it's good to spend the holidays with both sides.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the math on like the uncles and aunts, the nieces and nephews right now. I can't even do it live. So I guess growing up around a coach, being a coach's son, what about Mark Lowry, I guess, then did you sort of made you want to come here? What little things from him gave you assurance that this would be the place for you this year?
Yeah, Mark's awesome. He's very personable. I think he just talks to you as a human. He's not talking down to anybody. He doesn't he's not kind of like a dictator. He wants to be open and honest and get your opinion, but at the end of the day, we know that he's the boss. And yeah, I think if you run a team like that where you're open and honest, guys will want to do what you say and they'll trust you. And I've talked to other guys that played for Mark before I talked to Mark, just to kind of get a gauge of how he was and to see what kind of person he was. And nobody said anything bad about him. So I think they said he was a great soccer coach, but on top of that, they said he was a great guy and that he was always one that looked after his players. And I can already attest to that. He's always asking about my wife, about my baby, and how we're settling and if they can do anything. And that's just not him. That's everyone at the club so far. And I think that's been incredible to us.
I know that one reason that you wanted to be closer to family, your wife's family from Ohio, just one state over instead of a whole country over. Was there anything else football-wise, though, on the field stuff that kind of was intriguing about coming to Indy 11?
Oh, yeah, of course. I saw the signings they were making. They already had Solo. They had some other guys from last year, Jesus, Jonas is back. These guys are already here, Robbie. They're good players. And then they signed Cam, they signed Jack, they signed Seba. And as a good player, you want to be a part of that. You want to be a part of good teams. You want to play with good players every single day, and you want to push for championships. And yeah, so when they said they were interested, and I saw that, it's a no-brainer, really.
Any of those guys that are new that you've played against before that you're really happy you're going to be playing with instead?
Yeah, I hated playing against Jack Blake. He was always like on my blind side and always made games very difficult. He scored a bunch against us when I was at Phoenix. He scored against me when I was at OC, and he was on RSL. So he'll be good to have on my team finally. Cam, I think, is a great player. I think it'll be awesome to play with him. It's always fun. It's always fun battling those guys, but I think it'll be a lot more fun playing with them.
Do you have – I know you have a lot of the highlights, the goals, the assists. For people that might be a bit more new to your game, beyond watching their highlights, what sort of little things do you think you do really well that fans should look out for?
Yeah, I think I have a good passing range. Left-footed, obviously, but I think that I'm very competitive. I just want to win, and I'll run, and I'll do all the non-negotiable stuff. But then on top of that, hopefully I can add some goals and assists. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to win, whatever it takes. Whether I get goals, assists, anything, it doesn't matter as long as we're winning. And hopefully Seba, Solo, all these guys, they can have other goals and assists, and we just have to pass it to them. They'll do the rest.
Right. Do you have a favorite goal of yours that you've scored throughout the years, whether it be in youth that nobody saw or whether it was, one of the ones from your time in Phoenix in these recent years?
My favorite goal? I don't know if it's my favorite. I had a good free kick for Louisville that kind of went viral a bit. I don't know if that's my favorite. I think one of my favorites was probably I had a good one last year in the beginning of the year where I chipped the goalie. He was my old roommate in Orlando, so that was nice. That was kind of funny. But I think one of my most memorable was in high school because it was just I was playing with my best friends, and just one of those things when you play for your high school, it's just a lot of fun, and you just remember those moments.
Yeah, some of the best moments ever playing with your buddies in high school. I can attest to that too. That's as far as I got. I want to ask you some of the questions that were sent in by some fans, by some teammates as well, and by, I'm assuming, some old friends of yours. And I'm going to let you guess who they came from. Not all of them came from people like that, but I'm going to start with one. And please only answer if this is like, kid friendly.
Yeah.
What was your high school nickname?
They called me, I hate this, the Magic Man. Yeah, I hated that.
Can you guess who sent that one in?
It was either Blair or Ben, I think.
Andy Bolin.
Andy Bolin. Okay, yeah, he's the coach now at the high school, so I played with him too. Yeah.
So, yeah, he remembers.
Yeah.
Someone asked, "Are you excited for September 20th or dreading it?" Obviously, that is your return to Phoenix.
Oh, I'm excited. I get to see some old buddies. The fans were great. I love my time in Phoenix. I didn't go out where I hated the team or anything, or I hated the city. I love my time there. I was treated well, so yeah, I'm excited to see those guys. But you know, I'll be pushing for a win.
Yeah, for sure. So this actually, we'll get into this one a little bit later. I'm going to skip over that one.
Okay.
What do you think of the Indy 11 midfield?
Oh man, I think it's great. I don't want to say stacked. I just want to say that I think we have a lot of good players, and if we play to our strengths, I think it'll be great. I think we got B, we got Cam, we got Jack, we got Allen. We got a lot of great players in there, and I think what's that? 5 guys for 3 spots. I think it's going to be competitive, but I think we're all going to be pushing for each other, and whoever's playing, I think they'll have the support of the other guys, and everyone's good, so it's going to be fun.
Going off that a little bit, we've seen before in all types of sports when there's some bigger names put together and you kind of make, you just bring them all together. They don't always work. They don't always gel. How do you make it work?
Yeah, you just got to build trust between each other. You got to go on the field and you got to work hard for one another. If I'm working hard for Cam or for Jack or for B or Allen, they'll see that and they'll trust me then. So once that gets started and we build that trust and they know that I have their back no matter what, then we can start expressing ourselves on the field a bit more. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be good because we have a lot of experience in there, but then we also have Allen who's young and I've just met, but I can already see how talented he is. So it's going to be awesome just to get to know everybody and then get to play with them as well.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Allen since last summer, but I just stayed after one of the small sessions last week and just watched him hit some shots, and all you need is 2-3 minutes to see the talent and skill he has. Mm-hmm. What do you hope along those lines? What do you hope to accomplish this year with Indy?
Yeah, I hope to win a championship first and foremost. I haven't done that yet. I haven't won the USL championship. I've won the supporter shield and that stuff. So hopefully win a championship, win the East. I want to win everything that we can, whether it's the Open Cup, whatever it is. I want to win, but I also just want to enjoy the journey along the way. It's not going to happen tomorrow on the first day of preseason, but I'm going to enjoy the first day of preseason and every single day. And if we continue to build those blocks, then I think at the end of the year with the talent we have, and if we build that trust and that respect for each other, we'll get there.
How excited are you for tomorrow?
I'm excited. Yeah, it's been a long off season, probably the longest off season I had. So it's going to be fun. finally get out there, get to know all the guys. The first week's always a little tough. Everyone's going 100 miles per hour as they should, but it's good because then you get to know each other. You get to know their tendencies and how they like to play, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
One of your current teammates wanted me to ask you, who's your favorite teammate?
Who's my favorite teammate? Let's see. It's probably Robbie asked that.
Robbie did ask that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got to show Robbie around Carmel because I've already been out in Carmel more than Robbie has, and he played here last year.
But
I
he
was
just like stay inside and play video games. What is he doing?
Asked him where I should eat, and he was like, I'm going to go to Chipotle tonight. And I was like, come on, man. But I think Robbie's the only guy I played with. So no, I played with Solo. Solo's the USL king. So sorry, Rob.
Okay. Yeah, Robbie asked it, so he can't be it anyway.
Yeah.
So this one was sent in by Mr._Reynolds. Is that a
St. Louis FC Academy coach now. Yeah.
He said, "Are you still the least flexible on the team?"
Oh man, I've been working at it. It's just natural not to be that flexible. I try, but yeah, I'm not great flexible.
Okay.
Let's say
that. We'll have Gabe and Josh help you out with that.
Yeah.
Work on that too. Favorite part of Indy so far?
Favorite part of Indy so far. That complex is sweet. The Grand Park, I think that's awesome. I think I've been to a couple of coffee places in Midtown. I think Midtown looks awesome. It's a little cold, so no one's really out, but I can tell like in the summer and the fall, it looks like that place gets a little rowdy and it looks fun.
Yeah, Robbie would have said Chipotle, so you're doing better than him already.
Yeah, you can't really touch Rob.
Who is your favorite Zip of all time?
Favorite Zip of all time? Wow. That's tough. I had two at my wedding. I had Saad Abdul Salam and Clint Castro at my wedding, but Adam Najam was unbelievable. Richie Larea, Will Trapp, Robbie Dambrot, but then he decided to leave, so we can't really count him. But my favorite Zip was probably my wife. She's from Akron, so let's go with her.
Good answer. Very good answer. So coming back to the one that I skipped earlier, I was going to get into this. So you're a Manchester United fan, and someone without even they probably did know it, wants to know who's your all-time Manchester United five-a-side team.
All time. We'll go with Peter Schmeichel in goal.
Okay.
We're gonna go with Vidic in the back. Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, and Eric Cantona.
Wow. Okay, so no Wayne Rooney, no Cristiano Ronaldo.
No, sorry. Cantona was the guy that kind of he was the first guy that I loved watching when I was growing up and got me into supporting United and everything. So he's definitely in there. And then Cristiano doesn't fit in the five-a-side team. He's got to work defensively. So you got Roy Keane and Paul Scholes in there.
Fair. You were growing up around the treble time in the Champions League win in '99, yeah?
Yeah. So I think my dad is a United supporter, so that's kind of where I came from. But yeah, that's 99 was when they were really good. Obviously, Eric Cantona was just before that, and that's when those memories really started to stick with me. And so, yeah, watching Eric Cantona and the games weren't really on TV back then. You had to go to the bars. So my dad would always wake up at 6 a.m. We'd go to the bars in San Diego, and that's how I fell in love with the game.
That's a tough wake up on the West Coast, especially if it was ever at 7:30 a.m. Even the 10 a.m. kickoffs here are 7 back there. So I can't even imagine the early ones. Those gotta be tough. So I was watching last night. I watched the Wayne Rooney documentary, and just seeing some of the teams, watching it back from 06, 07 to 12, 13 when they won the last one. You have a favorite team in there, a favorite season when they won the Premier League?
Oh, that's tough. The teams with where it was all the academy guys, where it's Paul Scholes, David Beckham, Ryan Giggs, the Nevilles, those teams, I think they were different. They were talented, but I think they worked hard. They dominated games. So I think those are probably my favorite teams, and especially because they came through the academy. So there's a little, I don't know if it's because they came through the academy, but it just seemed like it meant a lot more to those guys.
Yeah, for sure. No, I totally agree with you. So are you at all nervous? 3-0 up for the second leg of the semifinal tomorrow.
Oh no, we're fine. Eric Ten Hag has us back on track. We're we're going in the right direction. So yeah, I think we're good.
I will say though, if you win, you have to take on the mighty Newcastle United.
Oh, you just became a Newcastle supporter like everybody else?
Hey, no. This is not bandwagon since the money came in. This is not new. I can show you my cheer jerseys from the 2000s
before today.
No, come on, no. My dad was from Scotland,
Okay.
so that was like it's the big northernmost team in England, so that was his thing, and he passed it down. I can show you all my old kit.
I believe you then. Good.
Anything else you got, Aiden? Anything else you want to get out there into the world? Any messages to send before we hang up for the night?
Messages to send? No, just go Zips, and we don't really count Robbie as a Zip right now. So.
Okay. All right, yeah, no. Robbie lost a lot of points tonight on 11 Live. So his appearance is gonna get shoved a little bit down the line before he can respond.
Yeah.
Well, Aiden, it was a pleasure, man. I can't wait to get preseason started tomorrow. We'll see you bright and early, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from you a lot this season. So thanks for coming on tonight, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody else will be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m., 11 Live. See you then.